All right, let's talk about AI and law firms. It's a huge topic, right? And the big challenge is, how do you actually win at it? I'm not talking about buying the shiniest, most expensive new toy. We're going to walk through a really practical, hype-free playbook that'll help you make smart decisions, like right now. You're feeling it, right? That pressure to just do something with AI. The market is just so noisy. You've got vendors promising you the moon, your competitors are putting out these huge press releases, and of course, leadership wants to see progress, like yesterday. So the pressure is absolutely on to make a move. But how do you do that without making a really expensive mistake? And that pressure, it usually pushes firms into one of two really common traps. First, you've got the buy something shiny trap. We've all seen it. A vendor gives this amazing, slick demo, everyone gets excited, a contract gets signed. Fast forward 6 months, and adoption is basically zero. It's what we call innovation theater. Then there's the other side of the coin. Commission a big strategy. This is where you spend a ton of time and money, you get this beautiful, super thick slide deck, but guess what? By the time it's delivered, the market's already changed, and you're just stuck. Total paralysis by analysis. So why do these traps fail over and over again? Well, the root cause is actually pretty simple. They're both chasing an impossible goal: perfection. The first trap is based on this idea that you can find the perfect tool, and the second one, it assumes you can create the perfect plan. But in a market that's moving this fast, let's be real, perfection just isn't a thing.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. We have to reframe the problem. The real question isn't just about technology. When a partner asks, which AI tools should we buy, what they're really asking deep down is something much simpler. They're asking, how can we make a decision right now that we're not going to regret in 6 months? It's all about reducing risk and just feeling confident enough to take that next step.
And that is exactly where this FIDAM playbook comes in. Now, this isn't another one of those huge, rigid roadmaps. Think of it as a decision-making framework, and it's designed for one thing: progress, not perfection. It's all about helping you figure out, okay, what are the next safe, actionable steps we can actually take? So the whole framework is built on 5 pretty simple steps. We've got foundations: where are you right now? Identity: who are you really as a firm? Direction: how do you guys actually behave? Then actions: what's everything you could do? And finally, moves: what are you actually going to do? Let's dive in and break these down.
Okay, so this first chunk of the playbook is all about looking in the mirror. It covers those first 3 steps: foundations, identity, and direction. I mean, think about it. How can you possibly choose the right AI tool if you don't have a really honest picture of your firm's reality? It's simple. First, you've got to know yourself. All right, step 1, foundations. This little maturity model here is all about mapping your real starting point. Take a look at the people row, for example. Are you guys at the ad hoc level where you've got a few curious lawyers just kind of tinkering on their own? Or are you all the way over at scaling, where AI competence is literally built into how you hire and promote people? Here's the key takeaway, and it's a big one. Technology cannot fix a messy operation. You have to be able to walk before you can run. Next up, we've got identity. And this part is all about asking some pretty tough questions, like what kind of work truly drives your revenue? Not just what you do, but what pays the bills? What are your clients actually expecting from you when it comes to AI? Because let's be honest, a small regulatory boutique that prides itself on bespoke advice is going to need completely different AI tools than a high-volume firm that's all about efficiency. Answering these questions is how you start to filter out all that noise and really focus on what matters to your business. And the third step here is direction. This is where you figure out your firm's real personality, its behavioral archetype. So, are you a pioneer? That's the tiny 5% that loves to experiment and disrupt. Or maybe you're a guardian, cautious, focused on stability above all else. Or are you like most firms, about 65% of them, a builder, focused on practical, step-by-step improvements? And listen, this is so important. Trying to force a guardian firm to act like a pioneer, that is the #1 reason these AI projects fail. Mismatch is a killer. Okay, so you've done the hard work of looking inward. You have a really clear picture of your firm. Now it's time to shift gears from thinking to doing. This brings us to the second phase, where we take this huge universe of possibilities and turn it into concrete actions and, finally, moves. Now for step 4. Actions. Honestly, this is the fun part. This is pure brainstorming. I want you to think about the entire universe of things you could do. We're talking everything from governance policies and training programs to wild, out there, client facing ideas. At this stage, there are literally no bad ideas. The whole point is just to get everything out on the table and open up your thinking. And this stuff does not have to be boring, I promise. Just look at some of these creative ideas to get you thinking. You could do a moot court against AI, where you have your junior associates pressure test their arguments against an AI. How cool is that? Or you could create an AI fails wall to make it okay to experiment and mess up. My favorite, though, has to be the AI War Stories series. Imagine recording a senior partner's best stories and using AI to index all those lessons. It's just a brilliant way to see how broad the possibilities really are. So you've done all this brainstorming, and now you've got this massive list of potential actions. I mean, we're talking dozens, maybe even hundreds of ideas, right? Everything from tiny little training sessions to massive firm-wide tech rollouts. And now for the hard part. You're going to take all of that and narrow it down to just 5. That's it. This is the final step, moves. This is where all that creative chaos gets turned into a focused, concrete plan. Honestly, this is the secret sauce of the whole process. So how in the world do you get from 100 ideas down to just 5? Well, it's a process of ruthless prioritization. It's pretty straightforward, actually. First, you take every single one of those actions and you plot it on a simple matrix, value versus feasibility. Then, you only look at the stuff in that top right corner, the high-value, high-feasibility ideas. You sanity check them to make sure they're low-regret decisions. And then, you force yourself to pick just 5. 5 moves for the next 6 months. That's your focus. And this right here is where everything we've talked about clicks into place. Your final 5 moves are going to look totally different depending on your firm's archetype. If you're a cautious guardian firm, your moves are probably going to be about governance, training, maybe cleaning up your document management system. If you're a practical builder, you'll probably focus on running a couple of specific pilots. And if you're a pioneer, you're going to be out there launching some wild new workflow with a client. And see, every one of those paths is totally valid as long as it's true to who your firm really is. So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? What's the one thing to remember? This entire framework is designed to help you find one thing, and one thing only, your next safe step. This isn't about creating some perfect 5-year AI vision. It's about making real, tangible progress, starting right now. You know, focusing on just 5 clear moves is so powerful because it protects your most valuable resources. We're talking about your budget, your team's morale, and that all-important forward momentum. It's the best way to make sure that the decisions you make today are ones you'll still feel good about 6 months down the road, instead of second-guessing everything. And that really brings us to the final question, the one I want you to walk away with. So forget all the noise, forget the vendor hype, and please forget about finding the perfect plan. Just ask yourself this. What are the 5 concrete, low-regret decisions that your firm is going to make in the next 6 months to actually move forward with AI?